Are you ready? We got enough, don't we? Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
We're going to do municipal housing.
Yeah. Skip's here somewhere.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, let's do it. Call to order the May 20th meeting for the Municipal Housing Agency Governing Board. I'll ask the clerk to take roll, please.
County.
Here.
Grease. Here. Mahaffey.
Here.
Hensley.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the authorization for the city manager to release mortgage and related security instruments for Nick and Tiffany Johnson pursuant to the 5H Affordable Home Ownership Program, Board Communication number 13-252. Is there anybody in the audience to speak on this item? Seeing none, could we have a motion, please?
Move.
Item's been moved. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item passes. Could we have a motion to adjourn the Municipal Housing Agency Board at 4:17? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We sit adjourned. All right, we've got a couple of proclamations, so we'll move into that. Actually, one. Something from one of our friends.
Did you see my return?
Bring everybody in.
I saw that. We have a policy. We've changed it. It's going to be the Meyer. Yeah, we can do that.
All right, prior to the start of our city council meeting this evening, we're going to have a couple of words from Pat Kazitza, and this is about National Public Works Week. Pat, I'm going to turn over to you for a minute.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is National Public Works Week. It normally occurs the third week in May of each year, and it's our opportunity to recognize these people, these men and women, that help operate and maintain our infrastructure and provide the essential services we need every single day to live in the city of Des Moines. I'd like to have them introduce themselves now.
My name is Fran Deaton, and I work in street maintenance worker.
My name is Scott Smith. I'm the sewer maintenance worker in Public Works.
Name's Sean McFarland. I work for solid waste refuge collector.
Alan Roberts, tree trimmer for forestry.
David Yon, municipal arborist, forestry.
Brett Lewis, project engineer, Department of Engineering.
Jeff May, assistant public works director.
These men and women report in routine operations, emergency operations all throughout the year. Last night, for example, we had a storm come through. We had some sewer crews in, had some forestry crews in, had call center personnel in, all to make sure they're there when the need arises. So thank you very much.
All right, Pat and all the workers for Public Works, I get down there and I personally want to thank you all not only for coming here today and receiving this proclamation, but every single day they show up, they get up, and as you can see, they dress up in this gorgeous orange attire. But most importantly, they get the job done. And when our citizens need their help day or night, summer, winter, fall, spring, these folks are out there helping us every single day. And I was down most recently as we were doing some flood planning and talking about that. Hopefully we won't have to go into action on that this year, but we always keep our fingers crossed. But if it's to happen, they'll be out there helping us hopefully take care of streets and unclog drains and get the water moving, but more importantly, saving lives and saving property and helping people do what's necessary. So again, thank you all very much. Proclamation quickly reads as follows. Whereas the Public Works personnel operate and maintain infrastructure and providing essential services for everyday life and economic growth, providing first responder leadership in floods, snowstorms, and natural disasters. And whereas the support of an understanding and informed citizenry is vital to the efficient operation of public works services and maintenance programs such as sanitation, sewers, streets, forestry, and wastewater proclamation. And whereas protection and preservation of the area's natural resources for the benefit of future generations depends on the sustainability of these services and programs. And whereas the quality and effectiveness of these functions, as well as their planning, design, and construction, is vitally dependent upon the efforts and skill of public works and engineering officials. And whereas the efficiency of the qualified and dedicated personnel who staff the departments of public works and engineering are materially influenced by the people's attitude and understanding of the importance of the work that they perform. Now, therefore, I, the Mayor of Des Moines, on behalf of our City Council and the citizens of Des Moines, do hereby proclaim the week of May 19th to 25th, 2013 is National Public Works Week in the City of Des Moines, and we call upon all of our citizens and civic organizations to acquaint themselves with the issues involved in providing our public works to our citizenry and the contributions that these folks make all over the City of Des Moines regarding everyday health, safety, comfort, and quality of life. Let's give them a big hand. Right in the middle. All right, let's get this out of the way. Smile. Yeah, everybody smile. Cheese or trees? Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. We have another individual here in the audience with us, the name of David Karras, and he's here to speak to us. David?
Thank you, Mayor, council members, and also city staff who are here. I am Dave Karras, Vice President of Government Affairs for Mid-American Energy Company here in town. And I just am here to thank the City of Des Moines for participating each year in Mid-American's Trees Please program, which adds energy-efficient shade and natural windbreaks throughout the city. Since this program was started back in 1998, the city has received almost $250,000 from Mid-American, $248,000 to be exact, for planting trees in the city. And I'm pleased to present the city another check this year in the amount of $20,000 for planting trees this summer and fall. And I also would like to thank David Yan and his department, the city arborist and the forestry group. They do a wonderful job in working with us on this program and on other programs. So thanks for, again, thanks for participating, the city, and thanks for your time this afternoon. And Mayor, I have a check for you.
All right. And hopefully moving forward, David, we're going to hope that as things get more and more exciting in our tree department, David, I know, has lots of other plans that maybe you can participate with us in a lot of other ways. We've got lots and lots of trees to plant, and we're going to get sort of our arms around it, and we look for partners such as yourselves, and we're going to have to come back to you and have you reach as deep as possible. All right. Thank you. Yeah. Bye. All right. Our council meeting will start in just a minute.
Can you hear me, Chris?
Yes, I can.
Are you still there?
Yes.
Okay.
What happens if we vote no on this and get 4 no's? Then they got to take it to the court. Do we have a series of infractions up there that's right?
Are you still there, Chris?
Yes.
You ready to go? Mr. Coleman, are you on?
I am on.
This is your night to give an invocation. Are you ready for that?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. We changed that to Hensley.
Okay.
Very funny, Mayor.
All right. Well, you're printed. It's in bold letters and sparkling lights. So, at any rate, prior to the start of our meeting tonight, we're going to have a quick message from our own City Council member, Christine Hensley. And for those who would like to stand with us at this time, we'd ask you to do so.
As we all know, Memorial Day is this weekend, and it's more than the day when the local pools open or the day that marks the unofficial start of summer. It is a day to remember those who have fallen in the line of duty and the family and friends they have left behind. Sadly, many Americans have lost this connection in the original intent of Memorial Day. We in this country owe a great debt of gratitude to those who have sacrificed their lives so that we could live free. We can start to pay that debt by not forgetting and remembering what they did and what they stood for. Please join me in a moment of silence as we remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you.
It still has the wrong person on it. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Okay.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order, and for May 20th, Des Moines City Council, ask the clerk to take roll, please.
County,
Here.
Coleman,
Here.
Moore, Grease, Mahaffey, Hensley,
Here.
Meyer.
Present.
We have a quorum.
All right, could we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented and/or as amended? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Item 3 is approving the consent agenda. Tonight, those are items 3 through 46. These are items that will be enacted on one vote unless either someone from the audience or one of our council members polls for clarification, discussion further. This evening, item 4Y, Councilmember Coleman, Hensley, and Moore vote no. Item HH, Councilmember Coleman votes no. Item 5, Councilmembers County and Moore vote no. Item 11, Councilmember Mahaffey has a conflict. Item 33, Councilmember Moore wishes to speak. And item 42, Councilmember Hensley votes no. Are there any other items that anyone from the audience wishes to pull for further discussion this evening or clarification? Anything? Seeing none, could we have a motion then for the balance? It's been moved. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Item passes. That takes us now to item 33. Councilmember Moore wishes to speak on this one. Item 33 is the renaming of Nolan Plaza as Coles Commons. Mr. Moore.
Well, actually, those of us that had a copy of the roll call noticed at the bottom that it said that the block known as the Nolan Plaza be and is hereby named to be known as, and it was blank. I thought, aha, we're going to have blank plaza is what we're going to have. But I was suspicious that the people would be in attendance here, and with Jeff here, if you'd come on up and make the announcement, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilman Moore. My name is Jeff Chelsvig. I am the CEO of Des Moines Performing Arts. With me is Mary Steer, who is the chair of our board of directors. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we also have with us in attendance Ken Smith, who is the architect of what is now going to be known as Coles Commons. He's come in from New York to be here today for our news conference that we had earlier. But this is a homecoming for him because he grew up in Waukee and lives in New York City now. We did have a news conference a few hours ago to announce that we've raised over $11 million for the renovation of this of the project, and we are still fundraising. I want to point that out. A couple of weeks ago, our board of directors of Des Moines Performing Arts approved the name Coles Commons. It's a recognition of a major gift to this campaign from the Gardner and Florence Call Coles Foundation. And per our lease agreement with the city, we are asking approval of this name. And we wish to also let you know that we are renaming the West Lobby the Nolan Lobby in honor of the gift that came from Bankers Life, now Principal Financial Group, many years ago, to continue the recognition of the Nolan family. And so we also want to say thank you to the City of Des Moines for your continued support of this project, and we are looking forward to moving forward. Thank you.
Excellent.
I'll move 33.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 33 is passed. Takes us now to item 47. That completes the consent agenda. Item 47 is the first consideration amending Chapter 102 of the Municipal Code, removing the reference to restoration cost schedule and replace with actual costs for right-of-way restoration work performed by city work crews or city contractor in relation to the right-of-way excavation permits. Council Communication number 13-268A is the final consideration of the ordinance above, and its waiver is requested by the interim Public Works Director and requires 6 votes. Anybody have any comments, questions regarding this reading of this amendment? Council, anything?
I'll move 47 and 47A.
47 and 47A has been moved. Any discussion? Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
7 yes.
Item 48 is a council request from Councilmember Christine Hensley to speak regarding the naming of Greenwood Park Wading Pool Shelter. Mrs. Hensley.
Thank you very much. You should have all received a copy of the letter. It was in the packet that was sent out from Susie Muehlhop to Ben Page, and she has been a long time, well, she was one of the original founders of the Friends of the Parks and Recreation Department, and she is wanting to make a significant gift that would be donated to making improvements to the Greenwood shelter at Greenwood Park in honor of her son, who passed away about 10 years ago. And she's also requesting that the shelter be named in honor of her son. So we have a process for this to go through, and similar to what Bob's just done with the Ding Darling, I'd like to refer it back to City Manager, Parks and Recreation for the process to begin and have it come forward so that we can take official action. But I think that it is a wonderful tribute. The family grew up in the Greenwood Park neighborhood, and her contribution would be significant. So my action is to refer it back to all the appropriate departments, start the process, looking at naming it in honor of her son, Jay Spence.
And maybe, Christine, we could add to that because this comes up quite a bit, we ought to get maybe a response back from staff looking at how we do name things and what criteria we use.
Right. And I think we already have some of that, but maybe this is a little bit more specific.
Right.
At the park. Okay. Thank you.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Mayor, because we've got a couple of them over in my ward that is coming forward not too distant future.
Okay. Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
7 yes.
All right. Item 49 is to receive and file a petition to continue and to adjust the boundaries of the downtown Des Moines Self-Supported Municipal Improvement District, the SMID, and to refer to the Planning and Zoning Commission for report and recommendation. Is there anyone here to speak to this?
I'll go ahead and move item 49 and just indicate that the area that they did expand into, which is up Keogh South up to the interstate, we have had some preliminary conversations with the property owners that have been very positive, and they're on board with participation in the SMID.
Yes.
7 yes.
All right. Item 50 is a communication from Marty Mock at 2701 Arthur Avenue on behalf of the Des Moines neighbors to speak regarding the neighborhood notification process.
Good afternoon. Marty Mock, 2701 Arthur. Last July 2012, I stood before you with some concerns regarding notification of neighborhood associations, and this was prompted by some activity that happened that some neighborhood associations felt left out of the loop. And appreciated the fact that the City Council at that time decided that there should be a committee formed and a process by which we'd look at neighborhood notification in order to try to improve that process and feel that the groups would have a chance to express their concerns, particularly over some developments that may be coming to their neighborhoods. I stand before you today because at this time, a number of those notification recommendations have not been done. And when I asked to be on the agenda, it was with the understanding that there was a 90-day period of time based on the recommendations, said these recommendations should be done within 90 days. And 20% of them maybe had been done, the rest of them had not been done. When I got put on the agenda and after I was there, Laura Graham gave me a call and appreciated her willingness to talk back and forth regarding these notifications in the 90-day time period. I did appreciate her candor and the willingness to understand that maybe there had been some slip-ups in notifying the neighborhoods that this 90-day period of time had been dropped, but I didn't understand that because I had never seen that actually dropped from the process. She told me that during the workshop you had 3 months ago, that while we had seen the 90-day factor of the notification, things would be done, the City Council on the process up on the board, that time period had taken away. And she apologized for the fact that it had not been reported back to neighborhood associations. But what it does do is leaves me with some concerns. If indeed we have no time periods of seeing improvement in neighborhood notification, what do we use as a criteria for success? The 90-day goals we felt at the time were very doable, measurable. I'm sure that there will be a response from staff after I'm done here why that 90 days could not be accomplished. But it then leaves in a lurch the question about when are they going to get accomplished? And how important is it to both the city council and staff that we have neighborhood notification for the 55 neighborhoods that we have in the city? Another thing that bothered me is during the workshop, we had the presentation of the staff, and it was presented to the city council during the workshop, but it was never voted on by the city council. And therefore does not have the standing of an action by city council saying, this is what we are doing for the neighborhood associations, this is what we're committing to. And it kind of bothers me that we never actually had that, it was just a report, and does not hold the strength of a city council action. Basically, we come asking today that we have a little bit better of a timetable of what things are going to get accomplished through the neighborhood associations in this whole notification procedures. What direction is the city going to take, and where does this leave us with staff? I hate to have to go back to the fact where we bring neighborhoods before you every single time there's a meeting because they did not hear about what was going on or had not been able to follow the process. And I respectfully ask that we deal with this in a more timely basis and see if we can't get this really off the book. It's been a year, and this kind of thing should not take a year to get done. Thank you, and I'll answer any questions you have.
Anybody have anything for Marty? Marty, thank you, as always, for keeping us on point. Or at least staff.
Sure. I'll move to receive and file.
I thought we were
39
Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
7 yes.
All right, this takes us to item 63. Item 63 is an amendment to the agreement with Central Iowa Hospital Corporation doing business as Unity Point Health for Wellness Services, Council Communication number 13-263. Mr. Manager, could you quickly tell us for the audience and the council just to clarify what we're doing here?
Mr. Mayor and Council, you actually have several items that relate to our health insurance, and perhaps it would be best if I could just have James come forward and give you an overview of what all these actions are, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Mr. Wells? James, do you want to just, so that you don't have to keep coming back up here, kind of address both of these items, 63 and 4?
64.
No, I guess we have a number of items on 63. I'm sorry, I'm not going to ask you to do 64. I withdraw that. We'll have somebody else work on that.
Hey, Ray. Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, James Wells, Human Resources. I thought I was in the clear after the consent agenda passed there, but apparently not. This item pertains to the wellness incentive program that we recently negotiated with the AFSCME union and the fire union. It will also be offered to the Gold Braid organization and the SPM employees. What this program does, and it isn't necessarily what this amendment is, but what this program does is it allows employees to receive a premium discount if they participate in a wellness program. That program is a health screening and health coaching if that's recommended. I think the council received some of that information today. You're also eligible to participate in that if you want. It is a voluntary program. As I said, there's a big piece of this is the health screening and the health coaching. We took bids for this service, and Unity Point Health or Iowa Health, Iowa Methodist won that bid, and we already have a contract with them for occupational health services. And so what's before you is to just amend that agreement instead of drawing up a special agreement with them for these services. So that's what's before you on this item.
All right. Thank you. Any questions of James? Mr. Manager?
Mr. Mayor and council members, wellness has been one of those initiatives that the mayor and council have been strong in terms of their advocacy for it. James and his staff and the leadership of the city has moved forward on a wellness program And this piece tonight is evidence of that. But there's one particular thing that James said that I want to emphasize, and that is for the first time, this wellness incentive, which is essentially a reduction in the premium that you pay, is now available to all SBM employees and to the mayor and council. Our city attorney has given us the opinion that this is something that's available to you today if you want to avail yourself of it. I'd love it if you would. I've stressed this to the senior management team of the city that hopefully they can all participate in the program to set examples for our organization. So it is really a great step forward. A lot of credit goes to James in putting the program in place, and frankly the cooperation of our unions as well, who have joined on with it. But the big news today for me is that mayor and council are also eligible to participate in the program if you'd like to do it. So I hope that you do.
I appreciate this information here. I think it's really important, though, and I've talked about this at the council table before, to have benchmarks. I think it's very critical that we can look at this and say, this is what we know we've been able to achieve. And I would really like to know what those benchmarks will be, what will be the timeline that we will be evaluating them, so that a year from now, we can demonstrate that we've accomplished this, this, and this. Yep. Because we've had the wellness program before. I remember one that was available to council members. It's probably been 10, 12 years ago. It's been quite a long time ago. And it really fell by the wayside because I think it was so extremely complicated to actually get into the system and answer the questions. And if it's anything like that, we're doomed for failure before we even start. So,
well, I'm glad you brought that up. It's an excellent point, and really that's what this is all about. I mean, one of the ways that you measure the effectiveness of a wellness program is through the claims utilization, and through absenteeism rates and productivity. Those get pretty tough to measure and really determine if they're causally related to the wellness program. This, with health screenings that are ongoing, meaning annually, that's where you can really determine if the health of your population is improving based on real biometric results. And so that's why this program, and I had just started with the city the last time the city did that, so about 13 years ago. And one of the issues there was it was just a one-time event. You got your health report back, and then you didn't really do anything with it, right? Or at least I didn't. I knew what I should have done, probably didn't do it, and then it just sat in my drawer. This is, will again be every year, so you'll be able to benchmark your own health, and the city then will be able to benchmark how the employees are doing based on, each successive year. With the health coaching component, that's actually where employees that do have some health risk factors, they can get help with that. And it's somebody that they have to meet with every quarter. So there's some accountability there. So that's, I think, what a real significant piece of this program is the screenings.
There's also an incentive for them too. Don't they get a discount on their contribution? So yep. I hope that they do take advantage of that.
Absolutely, yep.
All right, any other questions? Anybody? Mr. Coleman, any questions?
No, I agree with the benchmarks, and I'm happy that we're doing this. I am one that believes that forcing or encouraging, incentivizing our employees will save the city millions of dollars over time.
And Mr. Coleman will sign up immediately.
Great.
You didn't catch that.
Mr. Coleman?
Yes on the action, no on the signing up immediately.
Can you believe this? James, we need to get after him. Okay.
7 yes.
All right. Item 64, which you are not going to speak to, is the preliminary terms of agreement with the Merle Hay Mall for economic development assistance up to $400,000 annually for a total of $1.6 million for future tax increment revenues from Merle Hay Mall Phase 2 improvements. Council Communication number 13-267. A is setting a date of hearing on the proposed First Amendment to the Urban Renewal Plan for the Merle Hay Commercial Urban Renewal Area for June 24th at 13, Council Communication number 13-240. Mr. Manager, do you want to quickly touch on what we're doing? Because I think essentially we're going to have the full presentation on the 24th, but you could maybe quickly summarize our initial action here.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Some years ago, the council introduced tax increment financing as an incentive to improve Merle Hay Mall. There have been really terrific improvements to that commercial development that I think have stabilized it and turned it around. But tonight, you're being asked to take an action that would allow us to move forward with an expansion of Merle Hay Mall that would essentially involve the addition of an ice cream movie complex. There's a lot more to it than that. But it is a really terrific improvement. And the way that the council can help make this happen is to allow an extension of the tax increment benefits that you've already put in place in the past. Essentially, that's what you were doing. It does provide a financial support for the project. We'd be happy to talk about that in more details. But this is all about putting this additional layer of investment, primarily in the form of a movie theater complex, into that facility, which, of course, we all have high hopes for. So. The short.
Any other questions? Anybody?
I'd be happy to move this item, Mr.
Right.
Mayor. As Rick mentioned, I think the TIF in this area really has stabilized that area, and quite frankly, it's really rebounded over the last probably 4 or 5 years. So I think this is another exciting step forward for that area.
And I agree, Hallie, as we're voting, I've heard nothing but positive comments from folks in the area as to the progress of Merle Hay Mall and the way it looks, the way it feels, and the shopping experience. So, thank you to the owners and the tenants and quite frankly, Citizen City of Des Moines for supporting it.
Can I just add a quick comment that all these projects have been made better by the Merle Hay Neighborhood Association, and this TIF would not have happened without their support 6-7 years ago. And the results have been unbelievable. I agree with Hallie and the mayor. I'm really proud, and none of this would have happened without private entities being willing to invest millions and millions of dollars. One more little retail center is going to open up here in a couple of weeks, just north of the mall. It's very exciting, and we needed this. It's really important to the city.
And Mr. Coleman, yes?
Yes.
7 yes.
All right, that takes us to the hearings. Let's note that the hearings are open at 5 o'clock. Item 51, on the vacation of a portion of 6th Avenue, Mulberry Street, and alley rights-of-way adjoining 206 6th Avenue, the Midland Building, and the conveyance of an easement upon such vacated rights-of-way to legalize the existing building encroachment. Council Communication number 13-248. A is the first consideration of this ordinance, and B is the final consideration of the ordinance, and the waiver is requested by the applicant and requires 6 votes. Is there anybody in the audience to comment on the actions regarding 6th Avenue, Mulberry Street, and 206 6th Avenue, the Midland Building?
I'll move item 51, A and B.
All right, it's been moved.
Yes.
Mr. Coleman? Yes.
7 yes.
Item 52, on the conveyance of vacated north-south alley west and adjoining 3808 Southwest 2nd Street to Diana Myers for $75. Council Communication number 13-249. Is there anyone in the audience to speak on this item?
Move 52.
Item 52.
Yes.
7 yes.
Item 53, on the conveyance of a permanent underground electric easement at Birdland Park to Mid-American Energy Company for $1. Any comment from the audience?
If there's no comment, I'll move 53. That's going to be the Ding Darling shelter there at get some power to it.
Coleman.
Yes.
7 yes.
Item 54, on the conveyance of a vacated north-south 17th Street right-of-way adjoining 1702 Keosauqua Way to Spectrum Resource Program for $2,165 and to continue to June 10th, 2013 at 5 p.m. Council Communication number 13-255. So essentially, we're moving a continuance.
I'll move 54.
Anyone to comment? Seeing none, the item was moved. Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
7 yes.
Item 55, on the conveyance of city-owned real estate at Indianola and Dunham Avenue to Neighborhood Development Corporation, the NDC, for $198,000. Council Communication number 13-244. Is there anyone to speak on this item?
I'll move 55.
The item has been moved.
Got somebody.
You're good? All right. Item's been moved.
Coleman.
Yes.
7 yes.
Item 56, on the application from the state of Iowa for a certificate of appropriateness for the demolition of Norden Hall, 709 East Locust Street, and to continue to June 24th, 2013 at 5 p.m. and setting the date of hearing on June 24th, 2013 at 5 p.m. on the designation of 425 East Grand Avenue as a local landmark upon the relocation of Norden Hall at that address. Council Communication number 13-270. A is accepting a developer-initiated development proposal from 425 East Grand LLC to develop disposition parcel number 02-02A, 425 East Grand Avenue in the Metro Center Urban Renewal Project in approving minimum requirements and competitive process for development and notice of intent to accept proposal for sale and development. Is there anyone in the audience to speak on this item?
Move 56, 56A.
All right, it's been moved.
Yes.
7 yes.
All right, item 57, items regarding the request from FD Des Moines, Iowa, Southwest 9th LLC regarding property at 3911 and 3915 Southwest 9th Street. A is a recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission to amend the Des Moines 2020 Community Character Plan future land use designation from low-density residential to commercial auto-oriented small-scale strip development. B is a hearing to rezone the property from R160 one-family low-density residential to limited C1 neighborhood retail commercial subject to conditions. C is the first consideration of the ordinance above. It requires 6 votes due to sufficient objection. And D is the final consideration of the ordinance above. The waivers requested by the applicant requires 6 votes. Is there anyone here to discuss 3911 and 3915 Southwest 9th?
Hi, Mitch Phillips, 70 West Madison Street, Chicago, Illinois. I represent the contract purchaser. What we intend to do is develop a new construction Family Dollar store at the site. It's approximately 8,000 square feet. It's at the northeast corner of Southwest 9th Street in Watrous. Currently the property is, we're buying 2 pieces of property. The owners actually are represented here by Joel Tippelman from Lewis O'Malley. They're in full support of the project. Each piece of property, part of it is zoned C1 commercial, part of it is R160. What we're asking is that the remaining portion of that property is zoned C1. And I know in a lot of commercial development, traffic is an issue that people like to discuss. Family Dollar is kind of unique in that way because a lot of theirs is foot traffic, neighborhood traffic. At any given point, there's somewhere between 0 and 10 people there in their average stores, and that includes employees. And if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Does anybody have any questions?
What were the results of the neighborhood meeting?
I wasn't there. Mr. Templeman was. I know that there were about 15 people that showed up, and everybody seemed supportive. There was no real objection at the neighborhood meeting.
But you weren't there.
I wasn't.
Are there other people that are going to speak on this item this evening? Anybody?
Joel, are you going to speak?
Okay, we'd like to everybody kind of get up and come over here on this side of the room so we get a sense. Are you going to speak?
Are you guys wanting to speak? If you just line up along that wall.
Just one, so 3 speakers? All right, so we have your application and purpose. You might want to hang out, there might be some more questions.
Yeah.
All right?
Thank you.
Let's move ahead.
Good afternoon. Joel Templeman at 317 6th Avenue, Des Moines, Iowa, with the Lillis O'Malley Law Firm. I represent the 2 property owners, 3911, 3915 Southwest 9th Street. I was in attendance at the neighborhood meeting that was held on this matter. I do not have the roster sheet that went back with the folks who were at the meeting on behalf of Family Dollar. There were 2 representatives there on behalf of Family Dollar. They provided a site plan for the project and gave a presentation to the folks in attendance. There were probably approximately 10 to 15 neighbors did show up at this meeting, had questions for the presenters, seemed to be satisfied with the answers provided at that meeting. It was, in my opinion, it was a positive experience at that neighborhood meeting. Comment cards did come back during the P&Z stage. And that's what was requiring our 6 out of 7 votes here this evening.
But Joe, on the comment cards, my understanding that the reason it's at requirement for 6 votes is that one person owns the majority of the property surrounding. So
Correct.
this is not a mass infusion of comment cards from people in the neighborhood. This is one individual. Is that correct?
No, there's I have photocopies of the comment cards. Just locate them.
We've got the map. I can see it.
We can see it.
There's no need to. I misspoke. I misunderstood what was told to me earlier. So I understand. I understand why it is the way it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Teresa Alatorre.
Are you done with your comments?
I am, Mr. Mayor. Yes.
All right, thank you.
I live across the street from where they want to build the store. And right now we have a big traffic problem because there's so much traffic on Watrous and on Southwest 9th. So like when we want to pull out of our driveway, we have to wait and wait. People coming on Watrous, and then when the light changes, then they're turning off Southwest 9th. And putting a driveway across from us is going to make it a lot worse.
Did you give us your name?
Teresa Alatorre.
Teresa?
That's why I turned in a petition on Friday. I don't know if you guys saw it. We took it around to the neighborhood, asking all the close-by neighbors how they felt about it.
Okay.
A lot of them, it was a
Have you seen
concern
that
of...
petition?
Yeah, it's in the packet.
Do you have it? I have a copy if you need one.
No, go ahead.
Okay. And besides the fact of the traffic, there's a Family Dollar store just a little bit less than 2 miles away from us, and one just a little bit over 2 miles away from us. So we're afraid they're going to rezone it, put that store in there, and then what if it doesn't make it? Then something else is going to end up going in there that might be worse for the neighborhood. And the way I've seen it set up, they're putting their loading and their garbage dumpsters right by the housing. They're going to sit back here, and then they're going to put this up here, like by Watrous. So
Were
right
you
up
at
by
the-
our house, they're going to have their loading docks and their garbage, their dumpsters.
Excuse me, were you at the neighborhood meeting where they addressed questions?
No, we missed that one.
Okay. So you've not had a chance to actually sit down with them?
No, but we've seen the plans that they have drawn up of how they're going to do it.
Okay.
And they're
But you haven't
putting-
had a chance to actually sit down with them yet?
No.
Okay. And are you of the same feeling, sir?
Yeah, I'm her neighbor, and the point is that
And your name is?
Robert Piquet is my name. You'll find Trudy Bryant signed it. That's my significant other. And I have a privacy fence, and when I go to come out, the next street's to the west of me. When I go to come out last week, a car went to turn around in my driveway, and he didn't see me because of the fence. We almost met head on right there. And we have enough traffic there and accidents on that corner. It's a dangerous corner. We don't need to add anything else to it. But that come and go makes it so dangerous.
Thank you.
I want to add one more point too. There's other buildings on Southwest 9th that are empty. They're already zoned for commercial. Why do they need to take that property and rezone it and build something new?
Is this on the north side of Watrous?
Yes.
On that empty lot that's there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Teresa, thank you.
May I address that?
Yes.
A couple of things. As to why we couldn't use an existing building, there are obviously different plans that go into different projects. We think that we'll be taking a vacant lot and improving it with a brand new store rather than using an old refurbished building. That's one point. In connection with, I think, Mr. Meyer's question on the one person that was complaining or wrote in the card. We tried to reach out to him to make him part of this process. I wasn't able to reach him. I didn't get a call back from him. From what I understand, that he owns enough land in that area where if he would have retracted his opposition, we wouldn't need the 6 out of 7 vote. And then to your question about if they fail, if they are going to move out of the project, it's a 10-year lease, so it's going to last that long with the potential to be a 35-year lease. So once they're there, they'll stay. If you have any other questions or concerns.
Can you address the traffic issues that they're raising?
Yeah, most of the traffic of Family Dollar stores is foot traffic. They're a neighborhood store. That's kind of how they design it and how their business plan works. So at any given point, there might be 6 or 7 cars in the parking lot. At any given point, including employees, which there are generally 3 part-time and 3 full-time employees. Including employees, there's somewhere between 0. Obviously, if there's employees, there's some there, but up to 10 people at any given time. And that's pretty standard throughout their stores. They do. That's to meet city code. That's to meet city. Not. They could get away with less than that, but to meet city code, we have that amount of parking.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mitch and Joel and also Teresa and the other folks from the neighborhood. Brian, this is certainly in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Well, we certainly all have concerns with the neighbors. You can certainly have a motion however you would like. I'd like to maybe pass this for the first reading and ask if they couldn't have transportation and others kind of address some of these problems that these folks are concerned about, maybe as opposed to passing it all tonight.
That's fine. If I get support for it, the motion will be then to do 57 A, B, and C, passing the first consideration, and hopefully we can come back and pass 2 and 3 at the next meeting. So the motion tonight, and part of that motion to ask staff to address some of the concerns that were raised tonight.
Could we also have staff check with the people that were at the neighborhood meeting to see what the results of that were?
Yes, absolutely. So that'll be a part of the motion, 57 A, B, and C, and plus the 2 additional.
And the Southwest 9th corridor, it looks like, has been involved in the discussions with them, and I know that they've been supportive, and it's got P&Z support. So I just believe it's a matter of tying up some of these loose ends to make sure that there's information and we've addressed the concerns, and assuming then that there's support and we get those issues addressed, then we can pass the second and third reading at the next council meeting.
So I guess, Teresa, what we're asking is get your folks together and maybe sit down with Joel and Mitch and work through whatever we need to, and maybe traffic and transportation. I know Councilmember Mahaffey had suggested maybe that'd be a good idea to see how we might best address those traffic concerns, and see if we can't reach some sort of an understanding so everybody feels a little better about what's going on here. Okay? So we got a motion. Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
Mr. Manager?
Just to follow up on your final comment, Phil Delafield in the back, if you and Jennifer could just reach out to these folks before they leave to get a name so you can have that conversation.
Did you guys put your hands up? Teresa, Phil Delafield in the back, and Jennifer is our traffic transportation. Phil is community development. Okay? Thank you. Moves us to item 58 regarding the property at 1135 Army Post Road. John Shazinski, owner, to allow a continued use of the property for highway commercial uses, including offices, retail, and small engine repair, subject to conditions. A is a recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission to amend the Des Moines 2020 Community Character Plan to revise the future land use designation from low-density residential to commercial, auto-oriented, small-scale strip development. B is a hearing on the rezoning for the property from R160, one-family, low-density residential, to C2, general retail and highway-oriented commercial. And C is the first consideration of this ordinance. Is there anybody here to discuss item 58? Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor. My name is John Szynski, and I don't believe there's any objection to it, but I would be more than happy to answer anyone's questions. I purchased this property in 1986. There's been absolutely no changes made since that time, and it came as a complete surprise when we were told that the back half of the property, the front half is commercial, but the back half of the property wasn't zoned commercial like the front half of the property. So that's why we've asked for this amendment. My only concern is it's going to be rather expensive to make the changes that the city wants, that the Planning and Zoning Commission wants to the back half of the property, because it's, if you've seen it, it's like an L shape, and it's a very narrow lot, and if they want 10-foot set-ins and the concrete cutout, it's going to leave very, very little to even use that area for. The property started out when it was built in '78, and I think this should be in your packets, as a heavy truck repair center. I mean, there's large doors. And so the whole property was used for that. Since then, it's been used for small engine repair on one side and auto repair on the other side, and the front half is retail. And my office is upstairs on the front. So, and we have absolutely, I'm not aware of any objection, because it's been the same way since '86 that I know.
Okay. John, let's ask if there's anybody in the council. Do you have questions? Anybody of John?
I'm happy to go ahead and move it.
All right, we got to move, but we got a question.
Did you hold a neighborhood meeting?
Yes. Yes.
And the results?
I got 2 written consents, and most of the property across the street is owned by the Fort Des Moines Church, and I went and talked to them, and they said they have no problem. Plus, they use my parking lot when they have overflow, so they don't have a problem. To my west is an insurance agent who owns that and the house and a couple of vacant lots, and he has no problem. To the east is AutoZone, and they're the full depth of my property, and their entire property, including the back, is zoned commercial in the back too, even though it's pretty much a grass lot and kind of a dump site back there. But they have no problem. I didn't talk to the owners, but I talked to the manager. Some of the people speak Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish well enough. I actually kind of canvassed the neighborhood.
Did you contact the Watford South neighborhood?
Yes. I wasn't aware I was supposed to do that the first time, so we continued it.
So you had a meeting with them?
Yeah.
And the results?
It's with the board.
No, I did not have a meeting with the board. I didn't know what I was supposed to do, so I didn't even know I was supposed to contact them originally, so I did.
So you have contacted them now?
Yeah, I sent them.
So you sent them a letter? Have
Yeah,
you
the city
met with them?
The city gave me the name and address of the gentleman, and I sent him thing. We had the meeting, and nobody showed up. I sat there for an hour and a half just to be safe.
Okay.
You've done everything you're supposed to this time.
I'm sorry?
I think you've done everything you're supposed to.
Thank you.
So
Mike, any thoughts? It's been moved, I believe, right, Ms. Hensley?
I'll move item 58A, B, and C. Unless you you want to add anything to that?
I just want to confirm, the applicant did sign the letter accepting the zoning conditions recommended by the Planning Commission. So that does require landscaping to comply with our city ordinance.
Mike, could you contact the chair of Watrous South and ask them why they chose not to attend a meeting that John scheduled?
I'll have a meeting with, I've got a meeting with him Wednesday. I'll follow up with him.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
7 yes.
Item 59 on the vacation conveyance of the south 45 feet of Guthrie Avenue right-of-way adjoining 2223 East 21st Street to Susan and Brent Sodders for $500. Council Communication number 13-250. A is the first consideration of the ordinance above, and B is the final consideration of the ordinance above. The waivers requested by the applicant requires 6 votes. Anybody to speak on this vacation and conveyance adjoining 2223 East 21st Street? Okay.
I would like to ask Mike if they looked at this, see any, or Jennifer, whether there's any need for this in the future for a widening of this. No need? Jeb? Okay. I would move this item 59.
Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
Ms. Hensler?
7 yes.
Item 60 on the adoption of amendment to the annual budget for the current fiscal year ending June 30, 2013. Council Communication number 13-261. Is there anybody here to speak to that amendment?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Just a question, and as I was looking through the materials there, there's Scott has summarized the expenditures and the revenue, and there was one item that talked about general government that had higher severance payout than what was anticipated. My question is it because of vacation, accumulation? I'd just like to have a little more specifics on that, because I thought that we had actually dealt with that to limit, to put a cap on that.
Yes, Scott Sanders, Finance Director. You are correct that we have looked at, my understanding is prior to my employment, that the city had looked at the severance payouts, and that there was a policy change in 2007 that with new employees, as they are at the city for an extended amount of time, they would be capped at 600 hours of vacation as a balance. And so that the results of that obviously will pay dividends in the future, but we still have obviously 20 and 30-year tenured employees retiring that were grandfathered with whatever vacation leave.
So the amount of hours that caused us, how much were some of the hours that people were cashing out?
I'm not familiar with the details on exact retirements.
Can we just get some information on
Absolutely.
that? Because I guess the whole purpose of that is to encourage them to take the time off.
And I would add that we did a review to see what 5 years of the new policy, and we have seen improvement in areas of the balances.
Bob?
My question is, Scott, I would like to, you have additional revenues of 16 million, additional expenditures of 41 million, and we're keeping the budget in balance. Would you kind of give us some information there?
Absolutely. The simple answer is most of that, a little over half of that, is with capital expenditures that will occur in 2013, for which we had revenue sources in the previous years, maybe bond issues or grants that were received in the previous period. So we've already accounted for those revenues, but we didn't know exactly when the expenditures would take place. Some of these, I shouldn't say a lot, but some of these expenditures are even still associated with the 2008 floods and the 2010 floods.
So some of the expenditures are the result of carryover from prior years and being paid out in 13.
That's exactly
right. Thank you.
Skip?
Scott, I'm one of those that has the opportunity to see that you're down here burning the midnight oil quite often. And I appreciate the manager's response to my question today about do we have to be on a fiscal year July through June, and evidently by law we have to be. In your opinion, would it be easier for you if we were on the calendar year January through December?
No, actually, probably with the different auditing and budgeting processes that go on throughout the year, and receipt of taxes, including tax sale processes, it would admittedly be hard to reprogram my mind around all those dates that have to be met and reports done. So it would be quite the adjustment to switch. Obviously, it could be done, but it would be easier to leave it on June 30th.
Oh, you're the one doing the books. So.
That's, well, there's a whole staff down in North Wing that do.
All right, any other questions? Of course, then we could ask you about, would you like to switch to the federal fiscal year?
No.
Okay.
Does that mean we just pass continuing resolutions a month at a time?
No, it doesn't.
I think that's kind of what happens, right?
Let's do it.
That's it.
Seeing no more objections, I would move item number, what, 61? 60?
60.
Yep.
Yes.
And
Seven, yes.
and compliment Scott, he does a wonderful job for the city. So,
Great job.
thank you.
Item 61, on the Southeast 19th and Harriet Street Pump Station modifications, resolution approving the plan, specifications, form of contract documents, engineer's estimate, designating the lowest responsible bidder as Bierman's University Electric Company, Inc., Gary P. Cornelius, President, $196,400. Council Communication Number 13-256. A is approving the contract and the bond and permission to sublet. Anybody here to speak on this one? Pump station.
Move 61.
Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
Seven, yes.
Item 62, on the Southeast 14th Street and Euclid Avenue intersection modifications, resolution approving the plan, specifications, form of contract documents, engineer's estimate, designating the lowest responsible bidder as TK Concrete, Inc., Tony J. Vermeer, President, $155,691.65. Council Communication Number 13-257, and A under that is approving the contract, the bond, and permission to sublet. Anyone here to speak to that item? Intersection modification, Southeast 14th and Euclid.
Could we do it at East 14th and Euclid?
Yeah. how
Let's
about-
just do East 14th and Euclid.
That
Sorry.
sounds better, yes. No speakers, I'd move item 62.
Yes.
That'll be a welcome change there to improve that traffic corner.
Seven, yes.
That ends the hearings at 5:30, and could we have a motion to adjourn as City Council and reconvene as Board of Health? It's been moved. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? City Council now sits as the Board of Health. Item 1 is approving the engineering department to proceed with administrative removal to abate the public nuisance at 5403 Southwest 8th Street, fire damaged main structure in a garage. Title holder is Robert J. Hardman, who is deceased, and his heirs Marianne Hartman, Angel Lee Hartman, Charity L. Hartman, Heather D. Hartman, and Faith Marie Jones. Anyone here to speak to this item?
Move.
It's been moved. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Seven, yes. Coleman?
Yes.
Item 2 is approving the legal department to proceed with court action seeking the authority to abate the public nuisances at the following locations. A is 1603 University Avenue. It's a fire damaged main structure. And B is 2545 East 24th Street. It's a fire damaged main structure and accessory structure. Anybody here to speak to either one of these items? either at 1603 University or 2545 East 24th Street. All right, it's been moved to A and B. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Coleman.
Yes.
7 yes.
All right, could we have a motion to adjourn, please? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We sit adjourned. Thank you very much.
Good work.
Laura?
Okay, you too.
Aye.